Hello and welcome to FSBrew. Today we have with us Team Dark Horse Digital Solutions. We've got Naren, Kishore, and Utkarsh. Hi, Team Dark Horse. Welcome to FSBrew. Great to have you guys with us today.
Hi, yeah, same here.
To set this sort of context for our audience, tell us about Dark Horse Digital Solutions. What's it all about?
Thanks for asking that, David. Yeah, I think it matters a lot because A, you're not a complete accident, let me tell you that. And it all started in the age of applications. Like I myself, I was a business process owner in a large diversified group, happens to be in Dubai. Okay, and the diversity was from IKEA to trucks to spare parts to automobiles to white goods to real estate and logistics and all such kind of thing. And that was my first introduction. And the most important thing of the learning were two things. Okay, to demystify IT. Okay, it's not all that big deal that people would imagine, like I myself imagined before I joined the project.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only difference is right that you translate a business requirement into a language which the OS can understand, and the underlying kind of on chips and the electric kind of circuitry, with 011, etc. Which at best it sounds clear, it does things faster, obviously. It becomes more transparent. So that was very important to learn to demystify IT because people have a wrong opinion of IT from your business perspective. So first thing I think it is important for everybody to do that for. Don't overimagine. And the second thing was that at the end of the day, there is something called change management. Okay. And that is something that largely gets ignored. So we tried to put this together. Applications served their role. That was in the 90s. By the way, I realized how many misnomers are there in IT. Like ERP is a big misnomer. It was built for MRP2 for manufacturing. But I think somebody else called them ERP and they were themselves surprised. Oh, we are ERP. And then that was applications, and applications served their purpose because there was nothing at that point in time. And applications were primarily built for an industry where the relevance is A, it's common, B, it is predictive, 3, it is repetitive. Then why reinvent the wheel? So they build up applications which are configuration screens. That was 1.0, let's say. Then we moved on to 2.0. Everybody had them in their place. Core banking was there, core insurance was there, SAPs were there and stuff like that. Okay, but that does not give you a differentiator. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the nervous system that runs any organization are the people and the processes. And the process is never captured in a transaction guzzling core application. And it's so rigid because it was not meant to be anything else beyond what is repetitive, common, and predictive. Okay. And fortunately, I was drawn into that layer when Jan Ban found Cordis, which is now Openness. And I realized and I looked back that when I joined that SAP project from a business owner's perspective, I had given a flowchart of sales process, let's say. It had close to 110 boxes, so you put in the rhombuses and the tasks, etc., etc. Yeah. And after SAP got implemented, I went back to that dust gathering sheet by now, rolled it out, and I tried to cross-mark where is the process, what is SAP, what does the core application address it? Out of 110, the core application addressed 11. And I was wondering, where's the process? The process was missing completely. And then so it so happened that Jan was thinking along the same lines, so he made Chorus. And I was approached to join, so I was heading Chorus at that point in time, which is now OpenText. And at that point in time in India, which is, I feel, a very evolved country, both from the government digitization point of view, as well as from the corporate kind of a thing. Okay. And then not a single customer had gone beyond applications. And then every application was getting customized till the daylights were out of it and you couldn't recognize it. So customization was exceeding the standard configs almost. Okay. So then came the layers thing. So then came what is called BPM, Business Process Management. Yes. Yeah. And this appealed to us a lot. And inherently, when you're talking about a flow of a process, it straddles across structured data coming from multiple underlying applications,
Yeah.
unstructured data, communications, and the ecosystem, because there's nothing called an enterprise anymore. It's become an enterprise ecosystem. We'll come to that subsequently in the conversation. Hopefully, you guys will chatting we will. So that drove us onto this. And then there was the other aspect was that we chose this layer. Ideas and motion. We chose this layer because we felt if we are focused on this, so we ought to be niche. You can't be everything to everybody. To be everything to everybody, you lose your focus. I think in a way, destiny helped us to come together. Different backgrounds mattered a lot. Coming from a pure IT background, but also coming from a business background and being a part of implementation of an application and then seeing what the gaps are. And so that's why Dark Horse was formed. And why Dark Horse? If you want to ask, okay, fine. We just felt that we like a horse from childhood. It caught our imagination. And if somebody doesn't know you and you think you're a good horse, the only choice in English vocabulary was Dark Horse.
Let's try and draw in Kishore from an insurance point of view as well. So now, having seen the background, now getting directly into the industry itself, in the throes of digital transformation, we are not as advanced as our banking cousins. So how do you and the company approach digital transformation? And how does that differ from some of the other industries that you're seeing? Would like to get a sort of panoramic view on that.
Yeah, basically, if we talk about insurance and banking, two are both actually related to finance in some ways, but it has a different perspective altogether. The customer interactions are different in insurance and in actually banking. Banking is more regular interactions. Insurance was the policy is issued only at the time of policy servicing, the interaction happens. Then there are different data sets are also there, just like means in banking. And if you talk about insurance, customer categorizations are very important in the sense you have to design some products which are very acceptable by a particular group of peoples. And in banking, it's been there from very long time. So it is used to, people are used to the banking operations, and that is why means getting into some new things could be there, but not as prevalent as we can say insurance industry. So these are the two key factors that actually differentiate insurance and banking. Other than that, actually the technological things. Now, as we talk about the applications, there are many applications already into banking industries which are used by means every person use a banking application. Insurance applications are not that widely or effectively used till now, means it is actually improving. But if we talk about the usage, the percentage ratio, if we talk about it, could differ when we actually compare these two industries. So these are the key points that I wanted to mention. And sorry if we can add some more points.
I guess from my side, I would just say, okay, fine. It is incorrect to compare across industries in terms of technology adoptions, because every industry is unique in its own different way. And like, for example, because we worked with manufacturing companies as well, I would not like to say that manufacturing companies are laggards compared to service-oriented companies like banking or insurance and stuff like that. It's the drivers of the industry that determine, because we have interacted with individuals whom we hold in the highest regard from, let's say, a technology perspective, adoption of technology perspectives. On a scale of equivalence is what I would say. There's nothing called equals over here. So the industry itself has its own inherent characteristics and traits that drive something. Then the priorities hence differ. But that matter, even in insurance, actually, we found that there's been not a single similarity across all the insurance companies who are actually competing with each other in the market. Their priorities are different, their cultures are different, their strategies are different, their focus areas are different, their mindsets are different. Okay, change management is a difficult thing. The customer segments are different, the demographics are different. Okay, so these things drive different kind of priorities. That doesn't happen in applications. I mean, you want to do Life Asia, you do Life Asia. That's it. Okay. So I think I would like to give justice and respect to every industry because we've learned from everybody.
Yeah, which is amazing. The reason I think it tends to get compared is because ultimately the customer is comparing, right? So the customer has a certain experience expectation, banking gives a certain expectation or experience, whereas insurance typically tends to lag behind. But it's a very good insight, Kishore, that you mentioned around how maybe it's fairly new adoption in terms of products, and therefore the way it is crafted is that it's different versus a banking. Now, maybe Utkarsh, I can bring you in just on
Yeah.
that, what are the
Yeah.
different challenges and opportunities that you are seeing from insurance companies when they are approaching digital transformation?
Right of what I can see. So the challenges, let's talk about challenges first.
Yeah.
So
Must be many.
if we go for the transformation, there are stakeholders or employees of any insurance, they are unwilling to change their traditional process, right? That is I think, the major challenge we have to look and we can think about. And other challenges, what I saw in different insurance companies, like there are legacy system, but they are very adamant and the data is not open. I'm talking about purely about technology, right? So about systems, what any insurance company can have, right? Legacy system, they are very adamant, they are outdated, they are not open to integrate with the other system. So that is a second thing I see. Third thing I also see, like there are many systems in any company, but data are with those systems, with different applications. So there is no single point where anybody can see all the data from all the system data in silos. One challenge is bringing all data in one place where anybody can have one point of view and put analytics on it and understand what is the need of the customer, how we can improve our process where we are lacking behind. So this is the third point I mentioned. And fourth thing, of course, the regulation. So regulation is like adhering to that regulation for the place you are established, right? The local regulation. That is also, I think, very important in the digital transformation. We have to adhere with the regulation of the current situation or current government or place where we are. These are the challenges I see. But again, when I see challenges, so with that we have opportunities also. What we can do now, I can see many places we are with everybody is using AI. They are leveraging the AIs, right? We can see where we can automate the decision making of any process or any, say, if we are talk about claims and policy issuance, then where we can use AI, right? Where we can leverage the AI. And of course,
Are you seeing, sorry to interject, because are you seeing examples where folks are using AI for, right?
yeah, we'll come to that. Let me talk about first the challenges. We'll definitely come to that. I know there are places and there are applications this which being used. Yeah.
What I meant is from your, sort of clients, we are obviously very interested in this topic and we've dove deep and
Sure.
On that, you know what? Utkarsh has just implemented a project with an insurance company where chatbots and call centers might be at stake completely.
Oh, wow. So right away, let me talk about that only. So that topic has come. So what happens? The chatbot, somebody need to get the information from the insurance company. You can chat from your WhatsApp to the insurance company. There will be a bot, which is AI driven. Whenever you type and you want any information, bot will understand there is a underlying AI, right, which is being trained according to the lots of customer query, and it will answer and it will understand your intent, what you are asking for, and say in your WhatsApp you are typing, "Get me my policy detail." It will understand, okay, which system to go, and it can bring the data. If at all you need a document also along with the answer, it will get the document management system also bring those file and put it with reply in your WhatsApp. So this is the one place we can see the AI is going on. Second is whenever any policy is issued, right? So there would be a predictive AI where you can put and understand the customer requirement and you according to their age, salary, where you live, according to that, it can predict whether you will take this policy or not, what type of rider or cover you will take, and it will give you the tailor-made products for you. This is the second thing. Other thing is like there would be a image recognition, right? In any claim, right? If I talk about motor claim, there is a damage to the motor, right? There is the image upload to the system, and then you can understand whether there is a forge or not. Anybody can upload the photo of anything, right? But AI can understand whether this is the actual image, it is of your car or not, whether it's been uploaded earlier somewhere else or not. So those things we are doing as a image recognition, where it will help in the claim. I have list of other example. Yeah.
It's a longer list. Actually, the list is growing too fast.
We'll come back to it. Yeah. I think probably this one, we will have a mix of people contributing on this one. So just want to understand now that you worked in multiple geos, Asia, India, and Middle East. So what are the digital trends that are prevalent in these geos from your vantage point as a provider of solutions? And do you see any one trend which is stronger in the Middle East compared to the rest?
We are now talking insurance specific, right, Ranjit?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Kishore Da already said, I'm sorry, I call him Kishore Da, the hangover of Kishore Kumar. Okay. The fundamental difference that we have seen before we come to who's ahead, who's at the cutting edge of technology, is to understand the underlying tenets of the demographics of a particular country, the rules and regulations in terms of what influences, how much are expats and how much are people who are a citizen of that particular country. Okay, these things drive a lot of changes as well. And I think fundamentally, I would not like to say, and because of this, the usage and the leverage of technology also varies quite a lot. Like you can have something like a country like India. Okay, and do we talk about expats in India? Okay, it's a barely used word. Okay, you have a home population. The diversity and the demographics. India is a planet, actually. I think it captures the whole world in terms of demographics. Okay, you go from one lane to another, the demographics change, the mindsets change, etc. Right? So I would like to make that very clear first, because we are not here to ruffle any feathers. Hey, they have done so much and so much. What the hell? You haven't done that. I think that would be a very...
No, see, it more is a learning point of view. Right?
Yeah, I just wanted to keep that as a background. Okay. And we worked with insurance companies in India. We worked with insurance companies in the Far East as well. Even there, we see a difference. We work with an insurance company in Singapore. It's fundamentally different if you're working with an insurance company in Malaysia or in, let's say, Indonesia. Because the culture of the demographics are very different. But having considered the diversity, yes, because of the diversity and the expanse and the numbers involved, it so would have happened that the leverage of technology, digitization and all that, digitalization and all that, we've been witness to and part of implementing it has been at the cutting edge in comparison in India. But the reasons are the underlying reasons which I just shared with you. Because there are equally intelligent people in working in all the companies wherever you go.
And do you see any specific thread of technology that is more in demand in India when you talk to your clients there compared to the ones in Asia or Middle East?
Yeah, I feel that it started very early, and let's be very clear, Indian insurance company industry became privatized in 2001. That's just barely a baby kind of an industry, okay? But they have to have the entire expansion operations. Like we have built the entire new business process, including underwriting. Straight through processing was very important. We built the entire process flow that goes across claims, including touching upon fraud management, claim settlement, and payouts. So that's the entire 9 yards of an insurance company so far as the customer is concerned. Yeah. And that is the largest kind of footprint. But if you are talking about an environment where large number of insurance companies are reinsured at the back end and they have the TPAs in the front end,
yeah,
their priorities would be very different. Completely. Okay, their priorities would be customer experience, build for the bit. And every customer is becoming lazy in any case. The ad thing that we call our attention deficit disorder, everything at the click of a button. Now it's not even type and scroll. Now it's become tap and swipe kind of thing. And people are moving to it. So yeah, that's a fundamental difference that I see. But yes, India, fortunately, because of its diversity and expanse, we feel you can take the entire landscape of deployment of digitalization, open architecture is at the front end. It is ahead.
Right. And when you have to run these large digital transformation project, one of the biggest challenge is to hold the whole project management piece itself. Now, maybe I can bring in Utkarsh and Kishore. When you guys work on these large-scale digital transformation initiatives, especially within the insurance industry, how do you guys approach it? What has worked and what are the methodologies maybe perhaps that you used, that you have tested and learned from it?
Okay. Yeah, let me go first. So what I see, wherever we do any project, so main problem we faced. So I'll talk about problem and then the solution, right? The problem is the collaboration between the stakeholder, like the IT, the business, the operation. They have their thought. Everybody have their thought, but there should be somebody who's converging everybody's thought, right? Collaboration between these things means the IT, business, and operation is the most important part, and this is how we approach, right? And always, this is the move to our mantra in our company Dark Horse. Like you should do the Scrum. Our approach is the daily Scrum, the internal Scrum, which we talk about RT, whatever we have task in hand or how we are going to do any exception in that. So this is the Scrum part of it. And the same, you have to do Scrum with the other stakeholder also. Maybe not daily, but of course weekly or twice in a week with the business and the operation. Because what we are doing, we are not only writing the web service, we are not writing Java, we are solving their problem, the business problem. Right. So the collaboration is the main part of it. Yeah. So,
Yeah, basically the same thing means collaboration is very important, and it's very important to identify means how to implement a large transformation. Basically, we have to go in phases. We have to identify the priorities that a company needs, which processes need to be revamped, and which processes can be actually keep aside for some time and then take into consideration. All these things matters because at the end, what we need to identify is basically customer-centric option or the operations basically. And eventually what customers are getting benefit out of is basically the thing that every organization want to think about and proceed with their phased delivery of large-scale digital transformation. That is a key part that I want to mention here. Yeah.
That's great because
I would just like to
the
add,
intent is always customer-centric. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to add one thing as an overarching thought on that. Because the emphasis is on large transformation. And people from different generations in IT, some people have an application mindset. This is a big bang go live. Okay. When you're talking about digitalization, large-scale transformation, you have to live with the legacy. You can't throw it out. You can't throw the movie with the bathtub out. It has its own virtues. It serves its own value at the end of the day. But markets have moved on. Customer expectations have moved on. Companies have moved on. Technology has also moved on. It's very important to, he said, stakeholders buy-in. It starts from there. Second thing is it's a journey. If you notice some of the topics that we have chosen for one of our roundtables and for our demo, when you say digitalization, it's a perpetual journey. Right? It is perpetual. The priorities may differ as a start point from company to company in the same industry, but that is very important. And the chasm, I would call it the chasm between business and IT, needs to be bridged. And we've noticed it even in the organization structures. A lot has changed, but if you look at the org structures, quite a few are still the same like they were 30 years back.
Yes.
We have noticed the CIO reporting. I don't even know why some companies call the same person a CIO, some companies call him a CTO, some people call that person a CDO. I don't know the difference yet. I'm trying to understand what the difference is. And then the reporting lines. There are organizations where a CIO reports to a CFO.
Yeah.
There are places where COO is also the CIO, embedded in the one, and reports to the CEO. We have noticed the differences in terms of decision making, budget allocation. Somebody treats IT as an expense. Somebody looks at IT as an investment. These fundamental definitions are because of the chasm between business and IT. And I think, and that's why demystifying IT, I come back to the same point, is very important, even right down to the user level. That is where I feel we have seen the difference. We've worked on dynamic projects. You love working with, you love the challenges that come. Suddenly there's a spurt and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So the
I
culture is
just want to go on, Vidya. You're gonna
so the culture is always the key in all of these large scale projects, unfortunately, because like you said, it's a perpetual journey, which means you need a 3-lane road tomorrow, you need a 5-lane road, you need to have that complex bridges. There's always that need. And therefore, having a structure, a framework. Yeah, I think Utkarsh mentioned Scrum. Some go for Kanban and whatever different structures, but going through that framework helps. Yeah, Ranjit.
No, I was just going to remark on the structure piece as well, right? Some people have these squads and derive from many of the technology, pure tech companies, right? And they want to enforce it on insurance, which is inherently, whether you like it or not, very department and work process driven, right? It's underwriting. So when you're doing a digital implementation in insurance company, some of the squads and the agile framework can work for project purposes, but disrupting the entire organization may not work for day-to-day business, right? So there's a balance, and people who are left behind, as in who are in the traditional silos, will think, "Oh, what are these fancy guys doing in the corner? I don't think I should support them because they're doing something which they've not included me in the journey." So
and there goes the project.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, very good.
No, it's not just imagination. We live it.
Stepping on to some of the topics that are thought in UAE, we've been talking in terms of open banking, open insurance for some time. And obviously, this means that customers will be able to so-called own their data and allow it to be ported for producing products that are valuable for them. Is being tried out in UK, Europe, and some other geographies. What do you think from a readiness point of view? What is the landscape of the insurers here? And also, what should they do? What should they think about when you consider things like open finance, open insurance?
That's, I think, the most fundamental question of every industry, honestly speaking, including manufacturing, FMCGs. Okay, because I also worked in an FMCG. I was a part of viewers when Blackmail was there. And this openness, okay, I feel that should be combined. You are not alone anymore. Technology is all pervasive. Now there's open banking and there's open insurance. Honestly speaking, as we've witnessed and implemented projects where there is open mindset to unsilo everything and interact with the entire ecosystem. Like even in automobile, for example, they own the brand. They might own a part of the design, but almost 90% of the automobile is not manufactured by the brand owner. A lot of collaboration that happens there as well. The design might be made by some chic person in Italy, then translated into hardcore engineering. Okay. And so I feel that open part of it is here. It is there. We've witnessed it in different industries in different flavors. Some mostly internal, like to design an automobile itself. Okay. We worked there and we were wondering, what are we doing with the PLM and an SAP? Okay. So the openness is not just technology. Openness is how the ecosystem has become open, porous, fluid, changing every day, right? How is it? Obviously, because of banking, because of the nature of the industry, it's at the forefront. But then open insurance had to happen. And it's not over-imagine. Let's not over-imagine anything at all. The technology always somehow, I don't know why and how, always was available when business wanted it. Business adoption took time. I don't know why it happened. Destiny, God, I don't know what it was, seriously speaking. And that is very simple. Today it's available in open source also. Earlier, if we needed a platform and build on CapEx and pay a support price, today we can do it with a combination of React and Node.js. It's already there. But this is the most important thing. Okay. And we talk about it from a technology point of view. Okay. Reddit is one way of defining it. The openness of the mindset of people is what is need to catch on with the technology which is already available. I prefer to answer your question in a non-technical term because it always came down to that. At any point in time, the technology was there, the adoption varied. So when you say open architecture, I would say you should have open minds. You are no more alone. For example, an insurance company facilitates an aggregator. I use the aggregator as an individual who wants to buy an insurance policy. The insurance company has to open up its quotation modules to churn out a quotation. At a click of a button, I could buy an insurance from the other company, but I have to collaborate with an aggregator. So is an aggregator my business partner or is he my competitor? The definitions are blurred.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any thoughts on that, Kishore, Utkarsh, on open?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, data exchange between the insurer and customer. So what I understand also, the key component is data consent, customer consent also, right? Because you are sharing the data, customers' data, right? Ensuring the privacy and the compliance of the data is also very key. Another is the data standardization. When you say open, whenever we talk about anything open, there should be a standard or protocol fixed where we want to, everybody will share data in that particular or specific format. That only it will be for use, right? Otherwise, everybody keep sharing data, but in their format. So that is of not any use, right? So the data standardization is also very key point in this, the open, let it be open insurance or open banking. So that data standardization is the open protocol. So everybody should agree on.
Yeah.
There's only one word of caution for anybody. They have to do it. It's no more a choice. But one thing that kind of get missed out at times because everybody was working on-premise, internet and stuff like that. When you get into this kind of an architecture and environment, I think it's very important to keep in mind two things. Not just the functionality and the reusability of whatever that you're building. They have to keep in mind right up front two aspects, security and compliance. Okay. It is absolutely fundamental because we have witnessed and we have implemented things, okay, where it is all on the functionality and the value that it has to business partners, etc., etc. But what sometimes got completely missed out, let's call it the blind spot when you're driving, was paramount has to be compliance first and security hand in glove.
Yeah.
We saw that thing at times. And it is possible to do that. But it tends to become sometimes a blind spot in the rush of doing functionalities and features.
It becomes an afterthought many times. Right.
Yeah.
Kishore, you have some comments from that? Yeah.
Yeah, basically the only one thing I want to mention here, basically, in this scenario, what we actually should do is basically while implementing a particular digital transformation, we should always keep in mind the dynamic nature of the industry. And as it is open insurance, so even a more dynamic approach we need to look at. And that is why design to change rather than build to last. So this is what basically the thing that we always should look into. And if we if we talk about our perspective when we are implementing our project, we always think about that design to change, so that all change requests which are coming through maybe dynamic nature of the industry or maybe a natural calamity for that matter. If we are talking about insurance, then these are the things we should always keep in mind and go ahead with the transformation.
Yeah, and that's actually the fundamental thing because design for change is what it is now. Built to last It was a credo in the applications layer. Things have moved on. And leave and layer. Legacy need not always mean a dirty word. Serve its core purposes. You don't mess with the core. You don't mess with the core. You just make it more and more open. Like even if it was an AS400, even the product owners, let's say Life Asia, progressively, and banks and GC, progressively they are building up their own wrappers in a modularized manner. You don't need to change the entire elephant overnight. You don't eat the elephant over breakfast. So the way our experience has been that there might come a day where you may not need an integration layer because everything is open. Everything is an API. Everything is eventually talking to each other in a harmonized manner in a microservices architecture. So why do I need an ESB? And ESB is an outdated word, by the way. It started when during the TIPCO days or MQC. Enterprise Service Bus. There's no other bus.
It takes me back to my early days in the IT industry. Enterprise service bus.
Enterprise. There is no bus anymore. Everything is a bird flying open as a web service available to you to use in whichever context you want. There are no more silos at all. We can unsilo things.
Absolutely.
So whether you have this, like for example, some of the customers where we are working, it's a perpetual journey. We've been working for over 15 years with the same customer because finally the king is change. Change request is the king.
Change is always
So you have to design for change and leave and layer, respect the past, use the past to leverage it. There's a value to everything.
So on that note itself, right, designed for change, what is the future of the industry looking, let's say, in 5 years around the whole digital transformation itself?
Vidya, I will just quote what Jan Ban told me one day. Let's face it, I mean, Jan Ban and Hasso Plattner are the pioneers of digitalization to start with. Okay, core banking, core insurance came much later. So one day he was telling me two things which I learned from him. He said vision. Okay, he used the word B and S or whatever. And he said, it's hindsight 2020. He said, I did not know I would have become a pioneer of the ERP industry. I only wanted to do MRP too. Okay. So looking into the future, five years, crystal ball gazing, I would be very guarded in predicting the future. But the better way to look at the future is for each and every individual who's a decision maker to imagine his own version and options how the future can be. There can be a scenario A, B, C, and D. The decision makers of each company needs to decide on which scenario are you going to bet and make it happen. The future lies in the present with the experiences of the past. Future doesn't happen by itself. Future gets created. So that is where I think anticipation becomes a very important part of a leadership. The risk taking, if you want to call it, maybe so. It can still be a guarded journey. So imagining the future is something I would say, and I'm talking on behalf of people I've learned from. I'm just their mouthpiece over here. That's all. There are a lot of people that we learn from are not on this call right now. So I'm representing their thoughts. So dangerous business to predict the future. Future needs to be created by us. It doesn't happen by itself.
So let me ask this question instead, and you
I
can
was
come.
not giving a diplomatic answer, by the way.
No, I get it. No, it's a good way of approaching it. It's like options theory, right? But let's bring Kishore and Utkarsh into the conversation as well. So what are you seeing today is that is being created for future in your clients, that which will change the insurance industry over the next few years or months? Maybe that's a little more tactical question to ask.
I don't know about the drastic change, but insurance will be insurance. That is what I can think. But of course, the change the insurance company are bringing, at least they are trying. As I mentioned in the first conversation, like leveraging the AI. That is going to be the next game changer. That is what I can think right now. But I don't know whether it will change insurance company or insurance sector altogether very drastic. So that is how, and that is where I can see is the.
So the way it works will change, but obviously the fundamentals of insurance is not
Yes.
this. Right.
Yeah.
I just want to add on that because Kishore to have the last word on this particular thing. That they very clearly customer service, straight through processing, customer experience, okay, and turnaround times. Okay. These are going to they have to massively increase from the way they are today.
Sure.
They have to massively increase, and they can massively increase. Customized options in insurance, personalized options in product offering. Product offerings for a product launch in an automobile, you need 4 years. That's a platform. Okay. In a services industry, your algorithms, your rules engine, your AI, predictive AI, Gen AI, when you take a combination of all this along with workflow and digitalization of operations, it is potentially possible and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Significant increases. Like you can think about a customer service automation. Okay. It will be more than 85%. It's possible today if you attempt it. If you're talking about a new policy, straight through processing, it can easily achieve greater than 70%. Claims, fraud, predictive AI, Gen AI, workflow, rules engines. The tools are available. Putting them together, we see a significant improvement on all these things which have been otherwise bureaucratic, siloed in different departments and stuff like that. So open architecture should also mean an open organizational mindset. It's not like I belong to this department, you belong to that. For example, no sales guy, probably in insurance, would like an underwriter.
Yeah.
Okay. And attrition rates, keep attrition rates in mind.
Yeah.
Not many people are sticking to the same company. So how do you think about a roadmap?
Yeah.
Nice. Dramatic shift across all functions.
Sometimes I see the attrition rate at a CIO level equivalent to a person who's in IT at the age of 28. 2 years here, 1 year there, 3 years there. Where's the roadmap?
Yeah.
True. Absolutely.
Sure. Final thought.
Yeah.
Basically, when we talk about insurance and the growth of insurance in next 5 years, I still feel the best marketing channel is more publicity. And for that, whatever technology you are using, that should be customer-centric, as sir already have mentioned. And for bettering the customer experience, what I will think about is we are meant to be very proactive. The proactiveness is not probing customers, but handling them very carefully. And that will eventually increase the insurance penetration. And eventually that is the one key thing that will make insurance grow actually globally if we are talking about. So that is a very key point. And that is the thing we should always look in next 5 years so that insurance.
That thought, just one thought from my side, just one thought.
Yeah.
Enterprises have built up call centers, support centers, outsourced. In effect, they probably have built up a China wall that keeps the customer away from them.
Yeah.
So when you leverage technology and you're talking being cost conscious and stuff like that, I think there has to be a difference in that because will AI, predictive AI, make these things, and we all suffered that. I cannot reach out to the company from whom I bought a product. There's nobody available to me at all. There's a China wall the technology has built up and cost cutting has built up. So I think there has to be a caution in how it is being used. When you say we are going to offer personalized and customized products, the human being, who's my banker? I can't reach out to my banker.
Yeah.
Unless I'm ultra high net worth individual. I'm an arm admi. I don't see my banker. It's like an employee in the gig economy who works for Uber. He doesn't know who Uber.
Yeah.
That is something we all strongly feel, and we are all customers. We suffer that as well. I can't reach out to the company.
It's ironic that most of these digital transformation efforts are predicated on cost saving. The first business, and we have all done it, right? The first financial business case that we make is how much saving in staff or how much saving in time. And the mindset has to change to be how much revenue can I handle or how many more customers will be happy, net promoter score will go high. That positive approach is hard seen in the boardrooms, right? So
it's cost. Controlling costs is certainly important.
Sure. Yeah.
But what kind of cost? When you want to cut costs, cut the flap, don't cut the bone, please. Yeah.
You cannot cut your way to growth, right? That's not possible.
Yeah, and it also reflects that we prefer to be called as partners. We take huge exceptions, outraged exception when we are called vendors.
Right.
Now, vocabulary, I don't know how to put it in English. My English is not that evolved, but if I used to use some words in Sanskrit, there's something called shabd and soch. Do words shape your thoughts or thoughts shape your words? I think vocabulary is very important. Like, we don't like being called vendors. Vendor is a word inherited because of ERPs, because you have a vendor master and a customer master. For God's sake, call us partners. You call us vendors.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not supplying inanimate objects like rivets and gearboxes and engines to you. We are people. We are people. Okay? So I think a vocabulary correction is long overdue as well. And the cost part of it. These two things, if they are thought through in a more sensitized manner, then I feel the customer would get the feeling behind it and not just a technically derived, by rules engine, technology-driven, customized product.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds like a huge acceleration from a mindset point of view itself, which would then eventually lead to a lot of changes and transformation.
We feel so.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Okay, great.
Good to
Really
hear
great.
your thoughts on transformation in insurance industry as a whole. Thank you
Yeah.
for attending the session.
With us.
Take care.